Hey, hi guys. In this session, we will see how to create Maven project in Eclipse. In previous session, we have seen introduction part of Maven, and in this session, we will see practically how to create Maven project. And we will see folder structure, pom.xml files, and also we will see build life cycle of Maven, right? So let's create a Maven project in Eclipse. So how we can create a Maven project? You need to click on file and then need to go new and then click on other. So once you will click on other, you will be able to see Maven project. So once you will select this Maven project, click on next button, then you can see like this. So here by default, I'm selecting work location, default location I'm selecting. But if you want to select any particular location, you can browse and select the path, right? Now I'll click on next button. So see, different kind of archetype will load here. See, it is loading at the corner of bottom, you can see. See, so archetype got loaded, right? So these are different kind of archetype. You can see lot many archetypes are available by default in Eclipse, right? These are the Maven archetype. So what is the Maven archetype? So Maven archetype provide us different type of template. So suppose that developers may need to work on different technology, different project, right? So based on different technology projects, we can select Maven template, which will provide us project folder structure, right? So suppose that um, these are the archetype based on project and technology, right? But for testing, we don't need to select any archetype. It is not required. So this is basically for developers mainly, because they work on different technology, different projects, right? But for testing, it is not required. So if you want, you can select, but it is not required. So we can, if you don't want to select any archetype, you can click on back button and you need to check this checkbox, create a simple project, skip archetype selection. So we can click on next button. Now it is asking us group ID, artifact ID, version, packaging, right? So we need to provide group ID. So what is the group ID? Group ID, basically we give company name. So how we give the company name? Like this, right? And what is the artifact ID? So in artifact ID, we give project name. So let me give the project name here, skilled underscore professional. You can give any project name, whatever you want to give, right? And version by default, it is 0.0.1. So it will be the same. Packaging, we are keeping jar only. So we don't need to change anything now. And we can click on finish button. See, this project got created. And you can see small m, right, on this project folder. You can see small m. It means this is Maven project. Now we can expand this project. So see, by default, these many folders got created. These are the folder structure. Maven folder structure by default it got created, right? So now you can see here JRE 1.5, but we need Java 11 latest version. This is the older version. So what we need to do, we can right click on this project, go to the build path, click on configure build path, and from here we can select external libraries, add libraries, we can click on it, click on next button. So here what you need to do, you need to select this radio button execution environment. Then this drop down will get enabled, right? You can click on it, and now you need to select Java 11. See this one, Java SE-11 JDK 11. Select it and then click on finish. apply, apply and close. So now you can see um, it got updated, but it has not removed. So if you want to remove, then you can again go to this build path and we can remove this 1.5. Again apply and apply close. See. So now we have Java 11, right? Now what else we need? So we have created Maven project. Now we can understand the folder structure. So see, here you can see there are total main 4 folders, right? So you can see source main src main Java. In src main Java, we write main code, right? Developer keep their code inside src main Java, right? Suppose that we are writing any function like methods, whatever methods, function, logic you are writing to test the application, those code we keep inside this src main Java. And while developing the code, if we need any file, any data, right, then those data, those third party resources we can keep inside src main resources. Suppose that if we are writing a logic, right, we are writing a function, so those code we will keep inside this src main Java. But for that we need, suppose we need XPath, right? Web element we need. So those web element we can keep inside this resources, right? Resources package, this package. And for testing, so whatever the code we have written inside this src main Java, we will have to test those code, right? So for testing, we will have to write the code in this src test Java, right? And for testing the code, if we need any kind of data, then those data we can keep inside this src test resources, right? Today we will understand high level, but once I will start creating a framework and working on actual application, then you will get more clear picture. So folder structure I have explained. Now what else we need? We have this pom.xml file. Full form of this pom.xml is project object model, right? This is a pom.xml, right? So once you will create a framework, by default it gets created, right? And these are the details which you have given while creating a project, right? See, this is the version, this is the group ID, right? This is the artifact ID, and this is the default version, right? So while creating a framework, while creating a project, whatever the details we have given, those details you can see here, right? Whatever the dependencies and plugin you add, you need to add within this project only, right? This is a starting and this is the ending. Here we are closing, right? So whatever the dependencies and plugins you are going to add, you will have to add within this project only, right? So suppose that we need to add now uh, properties. We will have to add properties. So how we can add? I have created in previous project. Let me copy and paste from here there. So see, this is the properties. So we can paste it here. So see, Maven compiler source and target both will require to execute your program, right? So this is the properties we are keeping inside the project only, right? Now we will have to add dependencies. So for the dependencies, we will have to open two tags. One is dependencies opening tag and another one is closing tag. So whatever the dependency you add, you will have to add within this tag only, right? Within these dependencies. So suppose I need to add dependency for Selenium. So let me go and here I will search ambient repository. You can search on Google. You can open this link. So see, you can find out any of the dependency from here. So let me search Selenium. This is the Selenium. You can open this. See, so currently 4.16 version is available. We can copy this version we can copy this dependency and we can paste it over here. See, so this is for Selenium. So this is the dependency. So sometimes interviewer ask what is a dependency. So dependency is nothing, it is just group ID, artifact ID and version of, right? Now suppose I need a dependency for testng. So we can search here testng. Click on it and latest version available 7.8.0. We can copy this and we can paste it here. See, so testng version is 7.8. So as soon as you save it, automatically all dependencies will get downloaded. So again, if I'll save it, testng dependency also will get downloaded. See, testng also get downloaded. You can see testng 7.8. So see, so as soon as you add the dependency and save it, automatically all the dependencies will get downloaded and it will store in your local repository that is called central repository. I have showed you in the previous session, right? So we have downloaded dependencies for Selenium and testng both, right? So now we can close it. See, so we have seen how to create a Maven project. We have seen the folder structure. We have seen this project object model. Now I will create one basic simple code. So this is the SRC main Java, right? So suppose that we have one login page and we need to write a code for login page, right? So what we do, we will have to create one package and package name will be like this, com.skilled professional. This is the package and inside the package we can create a class. Class, suppose I can give here login page. See, so I have created a class, right? So for login page, we can assume we need for login page we will need. So for login a page, so for login a page we will require user ID and password, right? So those user ID and password we will have to store somewhere. So we can store in under resources because that is the data, right? So data we can store under resources folder, right? So data we can keep inside the resources folder. So how we can keep the data? We can create a property file like config dot properties, right? And here we can store the data like username is equal to let's say I'm putting test123. This is my username, right? And password I am putting password at the rate 321. So suppose this is your username and this is my password, right? This is your username and password. What I'll do, I'll save it and I'll close it. So see, so while developing a code, we will have to enter username and password, right? So how we can enter? We can read the data from this Excel sheet. So we will have to take the data from this property file. So for that, we will have to write a code to take the data from this property file. So I will not waste the time. I will just copy and paste from the previous session. I already have written a code. So I will just take a code from there so that we can save our time. So this is the code which I have written. I'll copy and paste it here. See, so for reading a property file, we will have to create an object. This is a predefined class, so you will have to create an object, properties, and then you can give any reference number, new properties, right? And here I have just created one simple method, login credential, and here I have passed two parameter, one for user ID, another for password, right? And here I have just written a method to load the file. And here what I'm doing here, I have just I'm just getting a property, getting a username and getting a password, right? And here just I'm printing the data, right? And I have put one condition. Condition is like this: if user dot equals to username and password, then it will return one. If it is returning one, it means it is a true. And if it is returning zero, it means it is false, means your user ID and password is not matching, right? So if it is matching, it will return 1, and if it is not matching, it will return 0, right? As of now, we have just written a simple code to read username and password from this property file. Now, whatever the code we have written here, we will have to test, right? So how we can test? Again, you will have to create a package inside this src test folder package. Again, I'll write here com dot skilled professional, and here we can create a class login page test. See, so we are going to test this page only, login page test, right? So here we have written a code to log in the page, and in this folder in src test java, we are going to write a code for testing that code which you have written inside this src main java. See, so now I have created a class to test this code whichever we have written inside the java login page, right? So how we can test? We will have to create one method, public void test login page. I'll put one because I'm going to create two tests, right? So we need to test this method, right? Because inside the method we have kept user ID and password, right? So for calling this method, we will have to create an object for this class, right? So I will create an object for this class, login page, lp is equal to new login page. And then we can use assert dot assert equals, and here we will, it is asking to put two parameters. So here I'll put 0 because I want to return 0 if I'm entering wrong user ID and password, right? Wrong credential. So I'm planning if I will enter incorrect user ID and password, then it will return 0. And 0 means that credential is not matching, right? If credential is not matching, then it will return 0, right? So what I'll do, we can call that method. If it is not equal, then it will return 0, means it is not correct credential. So here I'll pass incorrect username. Username I'll pass test something like this, and password I'll pass something pass 678 something like this, right? It means our user ID and password is not correct, because you can see in properties file I have passed user ID test 123 and password at the rate 321, but here I am passing incorrect user ID and password. It means it will try to match. If it is not matching, then it will return 0, right? 0 means it is incorrect, which is expected, right? So I'll put here at the rate test. right? We can import this test, right? So this is the scenario 1, and scenario 2 we can put the same thing. I'll copy and paste, and we can modify. So what I'll do here, I'll put here 2 because method name is same, and I'll pass the correct username and password. Correct username is this. I'll pass here, and correct password is this. I'll pass this password as well, right? So it means now I am passing correct username and password in scenario number 2. So if I'm passing correct username password, it means it will return 1, right? And here I'm expecting 0 because I'm entering incorrect user ID and password, right? So let's execute it. So what I have done here, we have developed the code to log in the page, and we are reading the data from this properties file, and whatever the code you have written here, whatever the code you have developed, right, those code you will have to test. So for testing we are written the code here inside the src test java, right? Now what I'll do, we can execute, right? So how we can execute? So let me tell you the build life cycle. So see, these are the Maven build life cycle. These are the sequence. So first we validate, and then compile, and then test, package, verify, install, and deploy. These are the life cycle of Maven, right? So how we can build? We can just right click on this pom.xml, go to the run as. You can see these are the build life cycle. These are the Maven build life cycle, right? So you can see Maven build, right? If you click on it, it will build your project. See, it will clean, compile, test, package, and install. So these are the phase, right? These are the different phase. So as of now, we are going to clean only. So I'll select this clean only. Let's see. See, it got successful. Successfully, it got clean, right? See, default clean. And now second phase, again go to the run as, and this second one, right? Second one again, it is used to set the goal. So suppose you want to clean the project, so you can set the goal here manually, right? We can click on run. It is failing. Okay, I have written something wrong. See, so instead of clean, I have written clear. So it should be clean. See, it got clean, right? Now if you want to set the goal for test, so it will test as well. See, this is the correct username, password, right? Username, password, two test got pass, fail 0, build success, right? So I set the goal test. It means before the test, whatever the phase will be there, it will execute by default, right? So if you are directly setting the goal test, right, it means validate, compile, by default it will happen, right? So suppose I'm setting goal verify, right? So it means before this verify, whatever the phase will be there, it will execute by default. So let me set the goal now, verify. Manually we are setting the goal, right? Verify. See, build got successful, right? So let's see the report. See, resource, compile, test resource, test compile, right? So it happens everything. Test pass, and this got successfully happened, right? If you are directly executing install, it means prior to install, whatever the phase will be there, it will be automatically executed, right? So now what else we can do? So see, manually we have seen, if you want to put two things, like if you want to pass two commands, then you can also pass like clean and test. You want to run both the command, you can run it, both command will work together. Instead of giving the command manually, you can go automatically as well, like this Maven clean, it got clean. You can click on, see, so as of now in target folder, as of now we don't have anything, right? But if I'll click on this Maven install, see, build success, right? Now let me check this target folder again. See, so as soon as you install, right, as soon as you run this command, as soon as you run this command, it will install the package into your local repository. So see, I will explain you all the life cycle. See, so in validate, this is the first Maven life cycle, right? So why we use validate phase? So we validate the project and all necessary information, whether it is available and correct or not, right? So we just validate the project and necessary information. The reason we use this validate phase in Maven build lifecycle. Compile, why we compile? So we compile the source code of the project. See, so this is the source code in our project. This is the source code. This is the source code. Whatever the code you have written inside this class, this is the source code. And in test as well, this is also source code, right? So whatever the code is being written under this source folder, it will compile, right? It will compile the source code, right? And now the third phase is test. In third phase, what we do, we test the source code. Whatever the source code you have been written, right, those source code we test, right? Like you can see here, we are using test ng to test the source code, right? So this is the third phase. And fourth phase is package. What package will do? Package will take the compiled code and convert into jar file, right? So that we can easily distribute and easily we can share with someone else, right? So this package meaning whatever the code you have been written under the source code, right, under this, right? So what it will do, it will convert into jar file so that we can share with other team member, right? So it will be easily distributable, right? So the reason we package. So you can see test ng jar files, what we these dependencies, you know, right? Dependency, Java dependency, like Selenium dependency, test ng dependency. What is a dependency? Dependency is kind of source code only, which they have converted into jar files, and we are just downloading and importing in our project, right? So same thing, you can also write the code and you can convert into jar files by using this package phase, right? So why we use verify? What is the verify? So we verify the result of integration test to ensure whether uh, quality criteria are met, right? And this install, what install will do? the code which you have converted into the jar files, what it will do, it will install the package into your local repository for use as dependency in other project locally, right? It will help you to install, it will help you to install in your local repository so that you can use in any other project, right? Those jar files. And what is the deploy? Deploy means it is required in the build environment so that we can copy the file package to the remote repository for sharing with other developers and other team members, right? So these are the build life cycle. So we can build it here. See, so it has converted into jar, right? So as soon as you install, right? See, go inside this. So as soon as you install, test, verify, right? So it automatically execute all prior phases, right? It will execute. So suppose you are installing, right? You are executing install directly. So what it will happen? See, let me delete this file. So see, this source code is converted into jar files. But if you want to delete this jar file and again you want to see, then again you can go and click on run build. Here you can type package. So it will convert your source code into jar files. So see, this source code is converted into jar files, right? So I have explained very high level these Maven build life cycle, right? So I hope you understood. If you still have any doubt, then you can ask me in the comment. Thanks for watching this video.